Yo, what up, family? It's your boy Big Walt, back up in here with some more Block Boys goodness. It's been a minute. I know. I've been faking on my YouTube responsibilities. However, I have been in the lab cooking up some good, but that'll be a topic for a later date. For now, let's jump into the topic du jour. Hov and Dame, NFT beef. Jay-Z and Dame Dash have both been in the news recently about this NFT beef that's playing out in the courts. Since both of these cats have been on the forefront of all things culture for quite some time, it strikes me as no surprise that they would be the ones fighting the first documented NFT beef. Rock with me. Should have stayed in food and beverage. Too much flossing. Too much Sam Rothstein. Hobie killed him, man. Straight killed him. But hey, we all love that movie Casino, so that's what's up. So let's jump right into it, man. I'm getting most of my information from this Rolling Stone article, although there's a few other sources that I've been looking at. But for the most part, this is what it says. A judge has ruled in favor of Rockefeller Records and prohibited Damon Dash from minting and selling Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt as a non-fungible token. Rolling Stone has confirmed, and TMZ has first reported the news, the representatives of Rockefeller and Dash did not immediately return requests for comment. All right, so let's get into a little bit more of what explains what's going on. So according to the complaint, Dash planned to sell an NFT of the Reasonable Doubt copyright at an auction on the platform Superfarm, which was set to take place on June 23rd through the 25th. Rockefeller claimed that it sent letters to Superfarm and Dash stating the sale was improper and requesting that the auction be canceled. While Superfarm did cancel the sale, the label maintains that Dash is, quote, in the process of finding another venue to consummate this improper transaction. Now, for Dame's part, he slammed the lawsuit. He says it's full of inaccuracies, and he said that he wasn't trying to sell an NFT of Reasonable Doubt, but rather his stake in Rockefeller Records after the label supposedly tried to purchase it at a low price. So let's read between the lines. Dame, he's trying to offload this asset to come up on some cash. Evidently, he was trying to sell, perhaps there's a right of first refusal in the contract. He was trying to sell it back to, Rockefeller, which would be, Biggs and Jay. And what he's saying is they're trying to lowball him on the price. And so instead of selling it to them for this lowball price, he wants to take his share to the open market, and see what it's going for. And basically sell to the highest bidder. Dame also says that this lawsuit was all about giving him bad press, bad pub to sort of try to depress the value of the asset in the open marketplace, which would then discourage him from selling it to anybody but them. But I don't know that he's presented any proof of that. Gets into that in the article a little bit. Let's see if I can find it. It's another piece of information that's relevant. Jay-Z, Dash, and Kareem Burke, that's Biggs, co-founded Rockefeller. And while Dash and Jay notably cut business ties in 2005, each of the three founders retains a 1/3 share in RAF Inc., as Rockefeller's new lawsuit notes. However, Jay-Z's original deal with his label stipulated that RAF Inc. would be the sole owner of the rights to his albums, including Reasonable Doubt. In Rockefeller's lawsuit, they make this statement, quote, "The bottom line is simple. Dash can't sell what he doesn't own. By attempting such a sale, Dash has converted a corporate asset and has breached his fiduciary duties. His planned auction of reasonable doubt would result in irreparable harm. The court should stop Dash from attempting to sell the copyright to Reasonable Doubt, require Dash to return the NFT of Reasonable Doubt to RAF Inc. and hold him accountable for this brazen theft of RAF Inc.'s most prized asset. Now, we can get into that, but let me go into what Dame said, and then we'll talk about like the validity, of what Rockefeller's lawyers, are saying about Dame, and whether or not it can be proven. So the article goes on to say, while Dame confirmed that he was trying to sell his stake in Rockefeller, he called the accusations surrounding the Reasonable Doubt NFT sale false. When asked about the Superfarm auction details cited in the lawsuit, Dash replied, quote, "There hasn't been an announcement. There wasn't an announcement at all. Don't you think that if I made an announcement that I'm selling Reasonable Doubt, you would have heard about it? What they're accusing me of is minting a whole album. So if it's already minted, it's already on the blockchain. That means it's already there. It never happened, and they know it never happened." So this is where I'm sort of feeling Dame on this one, right? If the album was minted on the blockchain, blockchain has those properties. It's there's non-repudiation, and it's censorship resistant, et cetera, et cetera. So once you write something, it's immutable. You can't unwrite it. So if the Reasonable Doubt album is on the blockchain, then it's there. We can go look at it. For Rockefeller lawyers to make this claim, they should be able to furnish a blockchain record showing that the Reasonable Doubt album is minted and it's there on the blockchain. Otherwise, they can, kick rocks. And what Dame is saying, is legit. So this is, it sounds like it's a very tense and intense battle. At the time of this video, it appears that Dame has lost the legal battle. But keep in mind, this is just one battle. What I imagine is going to be a protracted, elongated, all-out war. So we'll see where it goes. So I know we're talking about all this NFT beef, but many of you might be wondering, well, what the hell is an NFT anyway? If you watch some of my previous videos, you might have already heard me describe this, but I'm gonna go ahead and let it be known for the folks who don't know anything about it. In the crypto space, there's all this talk about cryptocurrency and tokens, yada, 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 right? What you need to understand is that there's primarily two types of tokens. There are fungible tokens and there are non-fungible tokens. And fungible tokens, there's nothing special about fungible tokens. You can think of fungible tokens as cryptocurrencies, much like Bitcoin or Ether or Tether or any of these other ones, Ripple, Dogecoin, you name it. They're all fungible, right? They're currencies, which means that you can swap one out for the other. So for instance, if I, let's switch the conversation to fiat currency, like dollars that we all have here in America. If I've got a $5 bill and you got a $5 bill, there's nothing special about these individual $5 bills. Matter of fact, I could trade you, my $5 bill for your $5 bill, and we'd both still be in possession of $5. The same thing goes with cryptocurrency. If you have a Bitcoin and I have a Bitcoin and we swap them, we both still have one Bitcoin. There's nothing special about any of those Bitcoins. And that's exactly what fungibility is. Basically, it means they're swappable. NFTs, on the other hand, or non-fungible tokens, those are quite special, and each one of them is individually unique. And so, in theory, we could swap our non-fungible tokens, but we would not be in possession of the same thing once we did that. And that's one of the reasons, why NFTs are typically associated with property rights. I need you to do me a favor, fam. Please click that subscribe button and the like button. It might be a small thing to you, but to us it's huge. We're trying to hit this 1,000 subscriber milestone, one subscriber at a time. So YouTube will recognize us and give us access to the tools that will allow us to bring you more and even better content. Thank you for your support, fam. We really appreciate you. book Mastering Ethereum, one of the authors happens to be this cat named Dr. Gavin Wood. I shouldn't have air quotes. He's a real doctor. Anyway, in the book, they define an NFT as a title or a deed. And so you can think of an NFT the same way you can think of the title to your car, or the deed to a piece of land, or the title to a house. In fact, the title or the deed is a piece of paper traditionally. That title in itself is not the car, right? But the title represents the owner's ownership of the car, right? So if you have the title of the car and your name's on the title, that means you own it. Why does it mean you own it? Because somewhere in some jurisdiction, there's a court of law that recognizes that piece of paper as the legal document that shows ownership of the car whose VIN number, vehicle identification number, is typed onto the document. It's as simple as that. And so when you think about it, the NFT would be a digital form of that same title, except it lives on the blockchain. The NFT itself is not the car, right? But the NFT can show ownership of the car, right? Just like the paper could. As a matter of fact, the digital version is better because it's more durable. Paper can burn in a fire, yada, yada, yada. There's many reasons why NFTs are better than traditional titles or deeds. And so you've got NFTs that represent analog goods in the real world, where they're typically representative, but you also have NFTs that represent digital goods in the digital world that was digital first, right? There's no physical, manifestation of those goods. And in those cases, the NFT could encapsulate or encompass the digital, good, meaning the bytes of code or the bytes of data could be stored within the NFT itself, or the NFT for digital goods could be used in such a way that the private key of the NFT can encrypt the digital asset, and only the person in possession of the private key could unlock the digital asset and then make use of it. So the sort of role that NFTs play in the physical world versus the virtual world, is very similar, but it's also very different. When talking about what it is that gives a paper title or deed power, I think I mentioned that it's the government, some government jurisdiction that recognizes that piece of paper as the legal document indicating the ownership of an asset. If nobody recognized, that document, if no court, no jurisdiction or individual people recognize that paper, then it would be meaningless. The paper itself has no power except the power that we give to it. And so, if you live in a particular jurisdiction, and, you've got the title of a house, in your name, and that title is filed and certified by the clerk of court, in that jurisdiction, it's legit and you own the thing. You file the title with the clerk of court. Obviously it had to be signed, by a notary public, et cetera, et cetera. But it's the courts, it's the government, right? It's the institution that gives that piece of paper power. And right now, because NFTs are new, because blockchain is new, there aren't many jurisdictions that recognize the NFT, from a legal perspective, as being legally binding, of ownership of an asset. And so the thing that's interesting about this Jay-Z Dame legal beef, and I guess I could look this up, but RAF Inc., it was incorporated in a jurisdiction, and the articles of incorporation, would let us know under what jurisdiction, it's bound, right? So you can choose that when you form a company. So for instance, if, which a lot of companies are, it's bound by the laws of the state of Delaware. There's an entire body of case law and other legislation that dictate how they would have to proceed. And I've done some research recently, and Delaware is trying to get some sort of blockchain friendly laws in place, but they don't have a lot. Colorado is a state that is been pushing the envelope a little bit on blockchain, laws, and they're sort of like trying to get businesses to incorporate in Colorado by having blockchain friendly laws. But the number one state in the nation in terms of blockchain friendliness is Wyoming, believe it or not. And Wyoming already recognizes NFTs. You can use NFTs to indicate, shares of stock in a company. That state recognizes, security tokens. And, I can guarantee you if this legal battle were playing out, in the state of Delaware, in the state of Wyoming versus the state of Delaware, things would probably, no matter who's winning, it'd probably be a drastically different outcome based on the fact that Wyoming is a state that recognizes, legally, NFTs and security tokens as legally binding and representing ownership, of real world as well as digital assets. So what do you guys think? Is Hove taking Dame for bad? Is he trying to carry that Bama? Was he trying to play him? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Here's what I do know. Again, like I said before, this fight ain't over. It might even just be getting started. And real talk, this might set some kind of legal precedent, in the realm of NFT beefs, right? Like the outcome of this trial or this series of trials may very well set precedent, for every other NFT dispute that happens, after this. So, we'll keep you guys posted, and I'll keep following up with this to give you guys more information, as things, sort of change. As they continue to fight these battles, we'll see who will win the war. Anyway, with all that said, I am out. So holla.